Leila is putting me in the next movie.
Yes. I mean, you are
Please start
fantastic. Yes. If you do it if you can start by volunteering so that she sees your quality, and then we can up the ante in the next production.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes.
Chief,
You're welcome,
go and wait for us outside. When we finish the show,
I'm also probably auditioning for production manager. So I'm trying to get Leila the best of deals.
Yeah. We've also been joined by our brother and others, Mwabedu. Uncle Ken is here. And we're going to continue with a conversation with Leila in a bit. But let me go straight to Arnold. Arnold,
Yeah, George.
why do people say you are a pilot?
You are the one who says I'm a pilot. Yes, you.
I heard it from Halifax.
No, I mean, come on. I'm not a pilot.
You are not a
Yeah, I'm
pilot?
actively involved in the operations of the pilots, but I'm not a
Okay, let me
pilot.
put it this. I hear without you, no plane can land or take off at Kotoka.
Well, that's not true.
So what do you do?
I license pilots. I mean, I'm in a personnel licensing office, and
So you license pilots?
yes, I mean pilots who operate in Ghana.
Can you give me a free ticket?
That's what the ticketing agencies. I mean,
You don't have influence over tickets? Oh.
So wait, you are a what again?
a personnel licensing officer.
A personal licensing officer, PLO.
I'm an aviation safety inspector.
Okay.
Yeah, but my specialization is the personnel licensing office.
This industry doesn't respect you.
They don't though. They don't at all.
No, you are an aviation what?
Safety inspector.
Aviation safety inspector.
Yeah.
Wow. So what are you doing in this entertainment space?
Oh, I mean, I started with entertainment before I veered into the corporate world, and I mean, I've always been a fan and a lover of show business, and so.
So how did it all begin for you? We'll talk about the pilot bit later,
Yeah.
but let's speak about Another Mwabedu, Ghana's favorite pundit.
Well, it started with the writing. I was writing when I was in school.
Okay, which school were you in?
Okay, so let me start from, let's say, Joy, Anungwa. Then I went to John Tay Memorial
Okay.
of Anko.
Okay.
Then I went to Ghana National College. Then the University of Cape Coast for my first degree.
Okay.
Then KNUST for my master's. And
Okay.
yeah.
Solid.
So yeah, it started from I think.
Your masters, do you know what course? Because a lot of courses
Environmental
have not been.
Environmental
a lot of
science.
their courses are not accredited. So we, need
MSc Environmental Science.
we have to look into it. These days, when you say you're a product of KNUST, we have to be
course,
sure.
yeah,
Okay.
Top notch. Top notch. No dispute about that one.
No dispute about that one. Solid. Okay.
So, there was no avenue for show business in
Yeah.
terms of newspaper or outlets or magazines or
Yeah.
something like that. And so I also used to be a follower of sports. I'm still
Yeah.
am. And so my dad used to buy a lot of sports magazines, ring magazines, and all that stuff. And so I was interested in sports as well as entertainment. But unfortunately for me, coming up, like I said, there were no avenues where you could actually write in terms of showbiz
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And so I was doing more of the writings in regard to sports.
Yeah.
I did a lot of writings in
Oh, you actually
local,
worked for
international-
sports?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was writing about Shamokwe, Joe Debra and the rest. And cool. I was writing about boxing.
Interesting.
Nana Yakunedu, Azuma Nelson. And
Ike
all that.
Basuga Quaye.
Ike Basuga Quaye and all that stuff. I was even writing about social, issues in the Mirror, in Daily Graphic, and all that stuff. I remember when I was in university, I was giving my SRC a lot of trouble. They will do something and I will write in graphic showbiz, my SRC, they are messing up. And they respond. I remember one time, I was giving so much hell. I hear the administration went to look out for my file.
Wow.
To say, who is this guy who's always been writing about us in the Daily Graphic and blah blah. So when they checked my file, there was nothing in there. Because I was so unassuming. I mean, I could be walking and wouldn't realize.
You would not realize this is the guy.
Yeah. So fortunately for me, graphic showbiz came into the picture.
Yeah.
And so that really gave me the leeway to actually be expressing myself, writing articles here and there. And so graphic showbiz actually was my launch pad into these, into the profession of entertainment journalism. And so I became very popular, I think between 2005, 2006. That's when graphic showbiz came into the picture.
Yeah.
So my popularity grew around that era. So a lot of people knew me based on my articles, but they didn't know their face because I was still in school.
Yeah.
And so I was writing a lot of controversial articles. I had issues with Reggie Rockstone, A+, and a lot of these top guys, but they didn't know who was behind.
Why were you having issues?
No, because they were not excited about some of the things that I wrote about them.
What did you write about them? Let's take Rockstone, for instance. What did you write about Rockstone?
Rockstone, I remember one of the articles. I've written a couple of articles about Rockstone, but the one article that I wrote that he was not too excited about was when Jay-Z came to Ghana. And I think he had an issue backstage. I think he was not given some level of recognition backstage, and so he went on a tirade from radio stations to the other, talking about how he felt more important than Jay-Z and blah 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 blah. And so I said, Reggie, slow down. This is Jay-Z we are talking about. I mean, and so he wasn't excited about it. A+, I felt at a point it was too loud in some of the commentaries that he was passing at the time. And so, yes. And Reggie, again, I had done a listing of the top 5 top performers and low, performers, stage performers. And I had rated Reggie at number 2. Top performers, number 2. He was not excited about it. He felt I should have placed at number 1. Because if you remember, before my listing, he had done a Ghana Music Awards performance, the one that he was, rolling on the floor and all that stuff. So he felt that performance could have earned him the number 1 slot.
And who did you put at number 1?
I think Lord Kenya at the time.
Okay.
Lord Kenya. I think I placed Lord Kenya
at number 1
for my listing. So I had a few issues with some. I had an issue with Chanarao, the Gigi Abiyo Wajima at the time. They didn't call me Antichrist because they felt I was writing a lot of negative stories about the gospel industry. And so one time they called me an Antichrist on their radio show. And I remember my dad calling me in school and telling me that, Charlie, I didn't hear for Antichrist or radio show and blah, blah, blah. So I had to explain to him that, it was nothing serious. They didn't like the article I was writing, and so they had to tag me as an Antichrist. And so that's how come I got into the industry. And so right after school, I decided to take it seriously. And so I remember working into the PMP office. PMP used to be the biggest newspaper, tabloid newspaper around that time.
They were around Abeka
Junction,
somewhere, Junction near the Total filling station. Yeah, in the
so I walked in there. Nobody forced me. Nobody coerced me. So I just walked into the office, and I told them that I would want to work for them as an entertainment journalist or entertainment reporter. And I was lucky because the editor at the time, Joris Jordan, he didn't know me because he was not really into the entertainment bit. He was more into the sensationalism about a goat killed a man, Dr. Beckley, a dog chewed a cat, that kind of So, fortunately for me, Isaac Yeboah, may he so rest in peace, the former, manager for Machidede. He was assistant editor, so he was more into the showbiz bit. Yeah. So he had heard of the Anoda Samabedu name, and so the moment I mentioned him, I said, I know him, and so he vouched for me. And so then I got a job. So that's how come I started professionally as an entertainment journalist by working with the PMP. Wow. Then I did Weekly Filler. Weekly Filler, I was actually the editor for Weekly Filler. After Weekly Filler, myself, Nana Tree, who actually works with the presidency now, and DJ Ames, may you so rest in peace. Yeah. We decided to come up with our own newspaper. I remember the name was Entertainment Buzz, and I financed it. We did only 1 edition.
And your money got finished.
One. We came out one Wednesday. After that, Charlie, the money finished. The distributors were not bringing us our returns. So we had Charlie, this one, we no go fit. So after that one, I did Raz newspaper with Kwesi Abuaje. Yeah. And I've done a couple of online, portals as well. Ghana Web. I'm one of the biggest contributors of Ghana Web for so many years. Yeah. Ghana Web. I did some with Prime Eye. Remember Prime Eye?
Yeah, I remember
Spotlight
Prime Eye.
TV3, and a few others. And so that's how come, I really got into the entertainment journalism.
How did you break into radio and television? And
so radio, big ups to Kwesi Abuaje, somewhere around 2006. Entertainment talk shows had begun with the likes of Prime Eye. Prime Eye was a sport on his show. And then Kwesi Animeje on Joy, one of the biggest shows, the top
mega hits. Mega hits, yeah.
So he also had a little, like a sport where he discuss, few industry related issues before they go into the chat. Yeah. But then the actual show for me that really started the talk show business in Ghana was DJ Abiyo in Chanarao. So after that, Kwesi actually started entertainment. Kwesi popularized it. Yeah. People actually started before Kwesi Abuaje entertainment review on Peace FM. But Kwesi Abuaje's entertainment review popularized, entertainment talk shows. Yeah. So somewhere around 2006, Kwesi called me, and I'm sure he might have consulted the likes of Kojo Preku Dankwa. Because Kojo Preku Dankwa was one of the first producers on the show. Regional Saffron Cancer. So Kwesi reached out to me. At the time, I was still with PMP. I had a column in PMP. I remember the name was Arnold Vibes. And so Kwesi was really keen. He was reading those articles. He knew me from my graphic showbiz days, but he was also paying attention to what I was doing on PMP as well. So he reached out to me that, listen, we are coming to start a new show, blah, 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 blah. And I would want you to come and join us, make this big. And so I said, why not? So that's how Quaye actually introduced me to radio.
To radio.
And
Interesting.
TV, I think TV, I got popular on TV via pundits. Of course, yourself. I mean, we had the original pundits, myself, Nia Itego and Francis Doku.
Yeah.
And so pundits actually launched me when it came to the TV popularity bit. Yeah.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting story there. And along the years, you've had major conflicts with major artists.
Like which one?
Like Shatawale. What is your problem with Shatawale?
I don't have a problem with Shatawale. I mean, Shatawale now, say I don't get a problem with them. I mean, over the period, we speak our mind. We write what we think is right. And we write and we speak based on fact. We do not go on radio and TV and just express opinions. Yes, opinions are okay. But as much as possible, we try to back those opinions and expressions with some fact. And of course, some of our artists, they are not too excited when they perceive some commentaries to be negative. They welcome the positives, but when they perceive it to be negative, they feel some kind of way. And so it was one of those things. He had made some commentary about how, you know the story.
Yeah.
And so I called that particular stance that he was being inconsistent and he was being confused. And I don't even know, because if somebody calls you inconsistent, it's not an insult too.
No, it's not.
It's like Philip, he's a producer, he always sits at that position. If tomorrow he decides to sit at a different position, he's being inconsistent.
But do you know that in Ghana, don't be silly is an insult?
Yeah. Surprisingly.
But don't be silly is not an insult.
No.
Or Leila is don't be silly an
It's a
insult?
question.
Depends on the tone.
It depends. Oh, okay.
And the context.
Exactly.
And
the
the context.
context. Yeah.
All right. Yes, Uncle Ken.
George Quaye, I seriously think if you told me I'm inconsistent, it's an insult.
I agree.
No, but it depends.
How is it an insult?
It's not. It's like I'm saying. No, Uncle Ken, if we are sitting here all the time,
Yes.
this is your sitting position.
Sorry, we've also been joined by Sadiq Abdullah, who's CEO of 3 Music Network.
Don't say anything.
Sadiq,
I'm
welcome.
asking now, how about if he told you that you are as inconsistent as Man U? That's how you would enjoy it.
Let's go back to Arnold. Yes, Arnold.
So I mean, if you check the word, the meaning for the word inconsistent, it's not an insult. It's not derogatory.
No, it's not.
You understand? And confusion, we've all been confused at a certain point in time in our life. So I don't know why he took it to be to be derogatory, and then we had that banter on United Television.
Uncle Ken, please check your shoe for me today.
Yeah,
Let's see if it's a 2 cities shoe. That is work.
and then
Hey,
he
if you
popularized
told me
my
I'm
shoe.
inconsistent, it's an insult.
It's no, thank you.
But Arnold,
Yeah.
all jokes aside, have
Yeah.
you ever been scared for your life after doing a radio or television show?
Not really.
You've never been scared.
Not really.
You've never thought they would come after you,
No.
the fan base or anything like that would come
No.
after you?
No, never.
Wow.
Never. And probably it's because of the industry that we find ourselves in. I believe most of the talk is just on social media. And the most recent one, when I called some of the Shatawale fans as low-minded,
Yeah.
I had a lot of insults and threats. And so, no, seriously, I was thinking probably the next week I would have people actually confront me. Nothing. Zilch. And there was nobody there. And so for me, I feel probably because of the industry that we find ourselves in, we are not violent like we seem to look or like, no. It's just on social media.
Or
Actually,
the violence stays on social
the
media. It doesn't.
BNT and no, it doesn't really go into the other. No, it doesn't.
Which of your banters have you found the most interesting? You've had banters with Sister Fia, with Guru Wiala.
Yeah.
Which one have you found which one has been most exciting for you?
Shatawales. Top. It's on top of that list, because I mean I've not said this anywhere, but during the show, I've called him inconsistent and confused.
Yeah.
The previous week.
Yes.
And so he actually called the producers, wanted to come on the show because of
that
my commentary.
Okay.
And so I knew he was coming for me. So me too, I prepared. No, seriously, I prepared for him, because I mean Shatawale and his shenanigans. I knew there was no way he was going to face me intellectually on any platform or on any discussion, and so he would, you know what I mean.
Go ahead, Arnold.
And so I knew he would use his shenanigans to win the audience and all that stuff. And of course, I mean, everybody can go back to and watch that tape. We're making interesting discussion referring to my shoes and how I'm not rich and I do not have this, I don't have that, and I stayed on course.
And George, before he carries on, I'd like to point out that the comment he made,
Which one?
that Shatawale cannot challenge him intellectually, is not an insult.
Oh, okay, all right. Thank you very much. Please go ahead, Arnold. Continue. Let's stay with Arnold, please. Arnold, continue.
I'm making reference to
that
particular moment.
Exactly.
I mean, not general. I mean, that particular moment, because
Yeah.
he was coming to address a certain related matter.
Yeah.
The fact that he felt we do not have one genre of music representing Ghana and blah 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 blah. So for that particular edition, there was no way, because I was adequately prepared for him.
Yeah.
So, and again, anybody can go back and watch that tape. It was all about shifting goalposts and trying to demean me and make me look less of a person and blah blah. But I was not really bothered about that. I was really yes, and then my shoe is 2 CDs, 50 pesos and all that stuff. So I was not really concerned because I knew exactly what I wanted to put across.
Interesting.
But that was quite interesting.
It was. We all followed, and it was pretty interesting as well. You've won awards for being a pundit. You've been called Ghana's #1 pundit and all that. Does that put money in your pocket?
Not until UTV came. I mean, to be frank.
Oh, but I was giving you money on pundit.
Oh, yeah, be true. But, I mean, we are talking about something.
Yeah.
There's money and there's money.
Yeah.
You understand? Of course, I mean, Peace FM has been paying me for the past 15
Exactly.
years.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about
Something substantial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, UTV, big ups to Father Dixon and everybody else involved in UTV. I mean, really, they and everybody that have been on that show would attest to the fact that that show is the most expensive entertainment show in Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Everybody that has been on the show, whether you're a celebrity or you're a guest or you're a pundit, let somebody come and tell me I'm lying. That's the most expensive show. Sadiq, he says he's been on that show.
I hear each pundit walks away with $1,000.
That one, I cannot tell you.
Sadiq, you've been on the show. How much is your take?
I know he's afraid of a GRE for following. No, when I was on the show for as a regular, it was just a regular.
Yeah.
They gave me an envelope. I think it was 1,000.
Okay. Dollars or CDs?
It was cities. So when I go home, when I checked it again, I called Woodog in the police and said, "Are you sure you didn't give me somebody's money?" Envelope? He gave me 1,000 CDs for 4. Yeah. Because I mean it was shocking.
Yeah.
But
yes.
one of them
Let's
died, but
activate the other microphone.
$1,000.
Chief wants to
No,
come.
but
in.
that's
Hold on. Yeah.
One person me busa say baby will have met me a cop sua twi ama me twi.
Your tree is fine. Don't worry. Arnold.
Yeah. So that goes to tell of the person for that extent is somebody who really appreciates the arts and the personnel that were really actively involved in the projection of the arts. And so for him to actually make that show expensive, Sadiq was on the show for let's say 3 to 4 hours and see the amount he took. I mean, Sadiq has not taken that amount anywhere on any entertainment platform. Never. You understand? So big ups for that Dexter for that recognition.
No, it is not stray. It is it is what it is. It is what it is. Please activate Uncle Ken's mic. I cannot hear him. Uncle Ken, what are you saying?
No, I was asking Sadiq that he too is sitting there quiet.
But what do you expect him to say?
You won't tell the
just
truth.
give me a line to say to him back.
Layla, has Arnold ever done a story on you before? Have you ever read anything from him?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
He's a very troublesome young man.
You know what I find interesting from your conversation,
tell
though,
me.
right? Okay. When you were questioning him, you were using the word banter. You used all these polite words. If this had been Lydia Forson, Layla Jansi, Nana Ba Anamwa, you all would have said controversial. So how come men... Exactly. So how come he's not controversial from everything he said, fighting Shatawale and all these people? Why? So you might want to redo that and call him controversial.
I know they're very controversial.
Of course. I mean, I've had that time.
Because if this were a woman, he wouldn't be able to talk like this. We would be more guarded because we're scared.
But why should
So
the women
me, I
be
want to
scared?
come back and be a man.
No. You should be a woman, and I
No,
love the
no,
way
no,
you
no,
speak.
no.
No,
I wanna come back and
Layla,
be a guy.
You're actually empowering a lot of young women.
I mean, we
Which is
hope so.
positive,
Yeah,
yeah.
we absolutely hope so
Which is
that,
because,
you know.
especially in a space where if we are not careful, a lot of our daughters would grow up thinking being naked on social media and, you know, taking other people's husbands and boyfriends and whatever and coming to flaunt it and be loud about it is what makes the
Exactly.
woman. We need a lot more of you to
So
speak up.
you need to stop calling us women who have a voice controversial. You need
Exactly.
to stop calling us bitches. You need to stop calling us aggressive. I think
Exactly.
you should call us bold.
Yeah.
You should call us brave.
Yeah.
Right? We need to start changing the narratives.
The narrative definitely needs to
Yeah.
start changing. Let me get back to Arnold. Arnold, so how do you manage? So you work full time
Yeah.
at the airport,
Yeah, five to whenever, 8 to whenever.
8 to whenever,
Sometimes I get to the office before 8.
before
PM.
8 a.m.
Yeah, you know. I mean, you and I have
Yeah.
crossed path on that
Yes.
bridge several times.
Yes, and you Monday to Friday, sometimes weekends, you're still working. How do you manage to get time to still do all the writing? Because you also CEO for
Yeah.
entertainmentgh.com,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and you guys are always putting out stories.
Thank
How do you juggle it all? And you have a family, you're married, you have kids.
Yeah. Well, it's just by the grace and also for the fact that I've done it for quite a while. I mean, I've done it for over 10 years. I've actually combined the two professions for over 10 years. So experience, dedication, commitment, and most importantly, the grace of God. I've had issues, I've had challenges. I won't lie. I mean, at my workplace, they feel like at a point they felt I was doing more entertainment than the aviation related stuff. And I've had challenges within the entertainment industry as well. For those of us who are in the entertainment industry, they cannot fathom why this guy is here and is there.
Yeah.
You get it. So I've had my own share of challenges as well, but I'm still here by the grace.
You hold a pretty important role at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why do you still allow yourself in a space where people
Yeah.
will just insult you, disrespect you?
Yeah.
Because if it were in another world,
Yeah.
Charlie, Mr. Asamoah, that
Yeah.
would be your name.
True. And let me tell you this story. After the Shatawale incident,
Yeah.
the next day, I went to the office,
Yeah.
and then almost all my bosses were extremely livid. They were like, that guy doesn't really know what the position you hold here. Doesn't know the kind of money you chop. Like they were mad. I'm like, no, I mean, it's just part of the industry. So I can understand where you're coming from, and if these sentiments are shared by other people, I can understand.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's part of the industry. It comes with the territory. And so once I've decided to do both, once I've decided to actually have a life in this industry, it comes with the frontier. I mean, I'm a writer, I'm a pundit. Definitely not every artist or entertainer that would be excited about the things I write or the things I say. And so they may come at me.
Yeah.
And so it's just about having a big heart and tolerating stuff like that. I'm always cool. I mean, you know. Doesn't really bother me at all.
055 1111997. Another small video is here. Layla is here. We're having great, insightful conversations. Has there ever been any situation in the industry that has made you feel like it's enough? I want to stop this.
Not really. I've not gotten to that point yet. Not really. Seriously. No.
You've been a pundit. You've been a writer. You follow this industry for long. If you were asked to say mention the part of the industry that needs the most attention, is it from film, is it the NFA, is it the Ministry of Tourism, is it the musicians union? Which aspect do you think needs the most attention, needs a lot of work to be done?
Every part, oh, boss. Every part. See, I mean, government is supposed to provide policies, provide that convivial environment for the private sector to thrive. They are not doing that. And so the private sector, until that environment is enabling, I mean, no investor would want to come and invest in a project that would see him or her lose. And so government must do its part. The private entity must do their part. And the industry practitioners too we must do our part. So the whole system there, until everybody, comes to the realization that they need to do their part, we will still be where we are.
Interesting one there. I'm going to bring the rest of the panel members into the conversation. We also have in the house, I mentioned earlier on, Leila Jansi, celebrated filmmaker. Yes, one of Ghana's, I keep telling people you're one of Ghana's biggest exports. And
I don't know about that.
No,
I think
definitely.
that's someone else.
Definitely. No. Actually, you are. Because you see, if we get to realize that, look, all this conversation about the CD falling, one sector that can change that narrative is what you do. Is the film industry, the music industry, tourism, arts, culture. This sector can change that narrative if we can nurture it properly. True or yes?
No, I think that's true, and that's what Arnold just said.
Yeah.
That if everybody plays their part,
Yeah.
you know, and I think the rules are there, but do we follow them, right? Because I know if you want to film in Ghana, when you go to the district assembly, there are regulations.
Yeah.
But do we actually
Follow
follow
them.
them? If we start doing stuff like that, then, you know, I think things will start changing.
Chief. Yes, you've got two big stars in the studio.
Yes, absolutely. I'm in
Yes.
awe.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, first of all, welcome to Leila. And
Thank
I
you.
remember back in the university, there was a screening of, I think, Sinking Sons. And I was invited by a good friend of mine to come and watch it. I believe at the drama studio. I mean, unfortunately, I think she was such a distraction that I ended up sinking in all her glory and didn't pay as much attention, critical attention as I should have played. But yeah, thanks to that friend who invited me. And I think back then when you came, you're still very new on the block, if I would put it that way. And there was a lot of buzz about this new, you know, in quote, diasporan Ghanaian filmmaker who was in town. And we thank you very much for all your contributions, you know. Hopefully one day you may find a script of mine, you know, in that realm. Our
I
path
would
may
love
cross,
that.
especially because of where we are. And of course to Arnold, you know, a senior citizen in the punditry industry. And a very bold one at that. You know, for a very long time, a lot of pundits, or a lot of us, you know, people in the entertainment industry were very reluctant to take on Shatawale. So he could actually bully his way all around, insult people, call people anything he wants, and still get away
He
with
actually named a very important industry person a half-caste monkey. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when it comes to
an industry person of international repute.
when it comes to notoriety, that is Shatter's brand, right? You know, but it got to a point where people like Arnold were like, hey, you can't just ride over all of us like that. And he's been one of those people who have been consistently checking Shatawale. And it's important, even though we love our artists and whatever acclaim and glory they may bring to our country, you know, it's still important for us, for no one to be powerful above the industry. And I think that, and of course, in recent time, too, Baba Sadiq has had his fair share of banters with Shatta. And I think that I can see, you know, just from a distance, that notoriety is being checked a bit. People are not taking everything he says hook, line, sinker. You know, that's whatever aura that used to be the Shatta aura has been brought down a bit. You know, to a more you know, to grace. So I thank our brother here Arnold for that work. And I like that he used the word intellectual, you know, because sometimes people think that, you know, entertainment, I mean, what could be intellectual? What could be intellectually stimulating about entertainment? Or just come and talk, you know, in quote, rubbish, laugh and look. But, you know, people like Arnold makes you understand that, look, this is a very serious sector of our society. It's as serious as any other sector. You know, they bring a professionalism that's at par with any other industry, you know. And that's one thing I also have to commend this entertainment review program for, the standards that you have put in terms of punditry. Otherwise, some of us will not even make time to come and sit here, because we see it as a very serious program. And over the years, the quality of people, you know, who have passed through, the guests, the conversations, have helped to elevate. And if we want to make people understand that the cultural entertainment industry is a serious industry, then we need serious people, you know, projecting that industry. So when people like you talk, you know, Leila, you know, obviously she's known as much for her art as for her opinions, which is very important, because as an artist, essentially, you're an opinionating person, you know, pushing a particular perspective of life, a particular, you know, vision or view of life. So it's not just through your art, but even through your social commentary. That is why when the UNICEFs and the, you know, UNESCOs and all of these international bodies are looking for ambassadors, the first port of call are the artists, the international celebrities, because they command attention. And so the question that for us artists, we have to ask, what are we using our platforms to do, and how are we using our platforms to change the way people think and act? That's why for me, I'm very excited about, you know, African culture becoming very popular. But beyond that popularity, my favorite subjects, what are our musicians representing? You know, that article I had in mind, you know, African giant, but in quote, Gucci puppet. I mean, I've been watching videos of late about a lot of these Afrobeat artists who are touring the world, you know, getting people raving and the excitement. These guys are becoming global superstars. And I ask myself, as they climb up the ladder, will they continue to perpetuate, you know, the Western commercial models that we know, or their brands can represent something that will raise the continent? I mean, let's take fashion. Fashion is already booming. But I look at these guys and all of them are in the Gucci's and the Pradas. Essentially, we are just regurgitating the American pop culture.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I'm not saying don't take your check and, you know, advertise, but it'd be nice, you know, when they are doing their shows at the O2s, Davido, Westgate can come out with some lovely jacket designed by some Nigerian designer or Gomunya official or whatever. So we've gotten to a point where the doors are opening. You know, people like Leia in the movie industry, doors are opening. She's talked about all the platforms, Netflix, Hulu, and the new one that you're launching today. What's the name? Homie and all of that.
Homie.
So it's not, so the one part of a conversation is getting through the door. But the next part of the conversation is that when we get through the door and we get to the other side, what are we representing? And I think it's inevitable, looking at the innovation that is coming on board. Look at 3 Music opening up his own TV stations. In the next decade, I predict that there's going to be greater impact and input by young African artists across music, theater, film. So the next conversation we have to begin thinking, and even as we penetrate the global, you know, sphere, what are we bringing to the table? How are we contributing our own unique voice, unique identities, unique concept to enrich the global culture and not just become conveyor belts of other people's culture? I think that's where the
It's
conversation
okay. Drink
is now
water.
going.
Drink water. Drink water. Drink water. It's okay.
You know, I always have my tea with
Drink
me.
water.
And I'm
Solid.
glad that we have intellectuals like Arnold as pundits to keep the conversation going.
Solid. Uncle Ken,
Wow.
Yeah,
are you with us?
I am.
Arnold is here.
Yes. I started following, you know, I read a lot about the arts.
Yeah, definitely.
And so anybody that writes about the arts, I tend to follow.
Yeah.
Before the advent of the digital world, Facebook and all that, and all of them were writing for the Flex newspaper. You wrote a bit for Flex?
Filler.
Filler.
I never did Filler.
Yeah.
That was Kwame Dazi and Sammy Flex.
Yeah, so I was reading that, Kwame Dazi, and like you said, because of sensationalism and all that stuff, I used to venture into the PMPs from time to time myself, you know, just to get some light-hearted moments. And I followed Arnold Asamoah-Bedu, and I think one day I sent him a message. I didn't know him, you know, I was just reading, and one day I read a piece by him, and I sent him a mail. It was a mail.
Yeah.
Yes. I sent him a mail and told him how I had been following him and how I loved his writing. So just propped him up, you know,
Solid.
asked him to go on. And that's how I got to, you know Arnold as a person. I met him later on, you know, in life. And I have followed him. I think he's been exemplary, you know, with his punditry. He has a lot of, what I like about him is, like he said himself, he does his research
Yeah.
before he goes out there. There are so many people who are not well versed in the topics they're supposed to go and speak on, just get there and make a mess of themselves, you know, just to create sensationalism. But Arnold is not one of those, you know. And that's why I would always have time to listen to people like him.
Solid.
Yeah.
Solid. Well put.
Is he a member of your outfit?
Yes, Arnold is a member of Atwak.
I'm actually a founding
Yes,
member.
a founding
He's
member.
a
of
founding
Atwak.
member
yes,
of
yes,
Atwak.
yes. Alaji,
Yes, George.
now you can ask the questions you were asking.
That question I'll ask. That question we'll ask it on this file. No, for me, I think that we need to commend Layla for one thing. Almost all her movies, including in the ones I've not fully watched, seem to have a silver lining of purpose, which is to champion or advocate an issue that women face, African women face. You know, and I think that from our parts, conversations around inclusion, conversations around highlighting, the issues women face using the arts, it's not, profound. And so if you have people like Layla, doing that in more magical ways on the top-notch level, I think it needs a lot of commendation.
Yeah.
And we need to highlight that often so we can encourage young film directors that are coming to begin to have a lot of, silver lining of purpose with their arts, with their movies. There should be a certain level of impact, even if you want to highlight issues marginalized in society are facing and all of that. And I think she needs some commendation on that. Arnold, there's a lot of commonalities, that we have. I agree with him on almost a lot of things that he writes and speaks about. Fortunately, he also went to Ghana.
You're not speaking to your girlfriend.
Uncle Ken. Today, the Uncle Ken is coming for me.
Uncle Ken says, speak up. You're not speaking to your girlfriend. Yeah.
The good part about it is that we went to the same school, Ghana National College, just that he was in a very, very bad house.
Okay.
No, I was in Afedu.
Even worse. Very, very bad house. I was in Mensa King. We're going a lot of things. I think in recent times, my only departing point, and in this case, what has become our biggest debating point has been my attempt to checkmate the media with regards to over-sensationalizing issues and then having more surface conversations. This way, I don't know the one here. This way, and then
They go there again.
we always argue hard on that point. I've been very at my wit's end in fact of how the media continuously give people with like zero knowledge, zero intellectual whatever basis on radio because they are perhaps very loud on Facebook or Twitter and could best insult people. And I've been very, very, very particular about that, and I've been very vocal about serious media platforms, Dome, Heads FM, and Co, Peace, and all of those is giving people like that the opportunity to just go on and attack and go in for the sensationalism, And I've been very, very, very particular about that. I don't know, for some reason, that's the only departing point with me and Arnold. He has his reasons. I also have my reasons. Often we just.
But I kind of overall, much as I agree with you, I also sometimes I've heard both of you, and I kind of agree with that. Look, there are different types of journalism.
Yeah.
And different types of targets, different types of people.
But George,
there are people who would not listen to this show because they believe the intellectual level is way too high for them.
My business doesn't discount that. My business doesn't discount the fact that there are various media platforms. My business doesn't discount the fact that media organizations, the currency for media organizations is ratings and eyeballs or viewership or anything like that. I do not. But just as I was speaking about Layla, we need to understand the role we play in the value chain, to understand how the things we give access to, how it eventually maybe affect or impact the industry or the space. I've been very particular about that. And so for me, the call has been for producers to always be particular about the guests. Of course, it's not everybody that wants the intellectual conversations, but who says that you cannot mix it both and end up enabling industry in a very positive way than the over-sensationalization of the issues that affects industry negatively. But beyond that, Arnold has been, a very good friend. I've known him for a long time. He's been very supportive of most of our things. When we formed the 3 Music Awards board, the Fairs board, from 2017 till now, Arnold has always been a very close advisor and a member of the board. And so,
Solid. Arnold.
George.
Layla says she loves Adam. Yeah. She loves Kanye West, but if we should bring it home, she loves Adam.
I don't love Kanye West. I love his song.
His song.
Yes, that particular song with the Sunday church. Sunday something quiet.
Yes. Well.
Yeah, Kanye is crazy.
Point.
Sunday service quiet. Yes.
Well, I love Kanye because he's crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he's crazy.
He's a maverick.
He's different. And that's why I love Shatta Wale too. I love Shatta Wale.
Shatta is enigmatic and maverick as well.
I love people who look. Something happened in Adan recently. We produced a show, and that show, I don't know if the attendance would have been the way it was if it weren't Shatta Wale. And the dude knows his followers.
Yeah.
He knows his crowd. He knows how to get them there. You understand? So if you work closely with him, if you work closely with him, you would very, very,
because you guys are mentioning Kanye West.
Yeah.
Last week on UTV,
Yeah.
I did say that before anybody features any Ghanaian artist features Kanye West and Drake,
Yeah.
Shatta Wale's collaboration Beyonce remains the biggest.
It does. It sure does.
And I saw one or two SM fans going haywire on internet telling me, why should I say Kanye and Drake could be bigger than Beyonce? I'm like, are you guys serious?
But that's the way they think.
Somebody said I'm a clown
Yeah.
for saying after Beyonce,
Yeah.
you know, until somebody features Kanye and Drake.
Yeah.
But
That's
what
gonna be
you
the
were
biggest.
saying
Yeah.
is a fact.
It's I mean, Kanye West.
Undisputable.
Undisputable.
Undisputable. So coming to the question, who are your top Ghanaian acts? 5.
Daddy Lumba,
Uh-huh.
Kudrenchi, Anabuaje da Costa, Reggie Rockstone.
You don't want trouble.
Why you still put him at 10, so?
No, but Reggie, I mean, let's be fair. I mean, for those of us within this generation,
definitely, we
Reggie
know.
opened our
Definitely,
eyes.
definitely,
I mean, because we used to listen to the Biggies and the
Yeah, yeah,
Tupacs,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I mean, we yearned for somebody to bring it home,
Definitely.
and Reggie did that.
Yeah.
And so Reggie did it. I
Yeah.
mean, I can never take him away from my top list. Reggie Obrafo, and let me add Mame Dokno, the musician.
Okay.
She was a
Yeah, she was a musician. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mami Dokno
Yeah.
is a musician,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That popular song.
So when I look at your list, it looks
see.
I'm confused. Okay. Let me ask a proper question. Performance-wise, who are your top 5 acts?
Live performance.
Yes, live performance.
Samini.
At number 1 or at number 5?
So Samini number 1.
Okay.
Stone Boy.
Okay.
Wiala.
Okay.
I'll give you how many?
3. Samini, Stoneboy, Wiala.
Amachi Dede
Serious.
and Lord Kenya doing his prime.
Before God called him.
Yeah.
Wait, Lord Kenya's dead? Wait.
No, he's not. He's a pastor.
Oh my gosh.
That's why you received the anointing.
Layla, you cracked me.
You know, George, let me just chip in. I saw on Twitter today, someone said his most embarrassing moment was when he had a date planned with a lady. And the lady texted him later and said, "Can I rain check this?" And he was like, "Oh, but it's not raining here."
That is so funny.
I actually saw it.
Oh my goodness. The station is Joy99.7 FM. It's Showbiz A to Z. We're going to go for a short break. When we come back, we'll read some of your messages on 055 1111997.
Yes, boss. This goes out
TV Premier League warming up to be the most unpredictable season just yet. Game on right now is Aston Villa and Man City. Early on, Chelsea won their game. Wow, it's 0 apiece in that game. And you might want to make sure you're connected this weekend. Enjoy all the football this open weekend with all the Premier League action open to all subscribers. It's going on till 4th of September. That's tomorrow. All 11 games, 6 of them coming to you live. Catch the age-old rivalry between Man United and Arsenal tomorrow. Find out whether it's going to be Man City's leagues to lose or anyone's to win. Make sure you get or stay connected from as little as 50 cities. Just dial just dial star 759 hash. DSTV, it's your moment. And on Monday evenings, you know I come your way with the Late Night Express, right? From 10 p.m. till midnight. Yeah, we make love tick.
Example of what I call hip hop.
Yeah, man. But before then, there's the Pentecost Hour, which is a religious broadcast program sponsored by the Church of Pentecost. It comes your way with the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Eric Nyameche. It's on 9:30 p.m. every Monday. So please tune in this and every Monday as Apostle Nyameche brings you life transforming truth that nourishes the soul, ignites passion, and restores hope in the nation. The Church of Pentecost, possessing the nations for the Lord.
Batman, like I never left. Isaiah 41 tatted on my chest. You not rocking with a best Black radio, I got this.
Arnold is a great dude by all standards. The first time I actually heard his voice was on the defunct Tema radio station, Meridian 100.5. He's always been smart.
You know about D. I came from the bottom, never drank from a teacup. Let's both see us and they sit up. Girls keep coming like hiccups. You know what?
Where did the rest of the messages disappear to?
D black.
Devil is a liar.
Drop, come on.
This is crazy, Charlie.
All right, we're going to come straight back into the studios, continue with our conversation. You can send yours in as well, 055-111-1997. Later on in about half an hour, I'll open the phone lines. But if you haven't made your way to the Accra International Conference Center or the National Theatre yet, let me just tell you, you are an hour late because both plays started at 4 p.m. Yes, Uncle White's 50th play, He Said, She Said, going down at the National Theatre right about now. Next show starts at 8 p.m. Then if you cross over to the Accra International Conference Center, Globe Productions, Latif Abubakar has got the place locked down. With my girl Nash Shoko lead acting in that beautiful monologue. 5 hours with Mario. Second show at 8 p.m. for that one as well. Okay, let's come back to the studio. All right, gentlemen and lady. Yes, we're back.
George.
Yes, Uncle Ken.
Sadiq, I just wanted to ask him which of Layla's movies he likes best.
Honorable, question for you.
Why are you looking at me?
Honorable.
No, I only asked because I thought you might come up with
the title, what's that was?
Same film that I like. You were not here when I...
Which one did you mention? Sinking Sands.
Sinking Sands. Okay. Now, George.
But I mentioned the Sinking Sands already.
Now, George.
Yes, Uncle Ken.
While on the Cinematograph Exhibitions Board of Control, when we had to preview and classify Sinking Sands, I told you I was a member of the panel. Then, and we watched the movie. It was myself and 2 ladies, and we watched the movie, and everybody liked the movie. But when we had to classify it, the 2 ladies felt that a particular scene had to be edited out of the movie before we could pass it. And I disagreed vehemently with them. And that scene was a scene that, to me, it's one of the best love-making scenes I have seen in a movie.
Uncle, can we that's arguable.
Hold on.
That's arguable.
No, I'll tell you why.
Uncle Ken, take your time and talk. We have time.
No.
For every movie you've watched,
Oh my goodness.
You might say it's arguable, but the way the movie was, if that scene had not come in, something would have been lost from the film.
Yes.
And I wanted the scene kept the way it was without any editing, because I said it actually portrayed the emotion, the deep emotion the husband had at the time he ventured onto his woman to make love to her. I thought it was tastefully done. Okay, but the other panelists felt that no, this is yeah.
They thought it was too graphic.
I think, was it on the show, Uncle Ken?
Sorry?
Was it on the show?
No.
It was on the
No.
cinematography board. Yeah.
The board.
But you've mentioned this on this show.
Not this show.
This show.
Not the show.
I remember years ago.
Some time ago. You're
We
right.
discussed it.
Yes,
here.
and you were present.
Yes,
you were
Francis
present.
Dokutu or
You
something.
know,
I remember. He must
I
have
had
been really
to let
taken
them
by
know
the scene.
that with the flow of the story, if they took that scene out, it would lose something.
So Uncle Ken, how was it done?
George.
Describe it for us.
For our listeners. For our listeners.
No, the director is here.
No, but you're the one who brought it up.
Describe it
Who
for
wants
us.
you to describe it?
Hold on. I brought this up only to make the point that sometimes when love scenes are introduced in movies and done properly, they tend to help the movie portray exactly what they want to say. You know, and the way Leila handled that scene, you know.
But you still not describe the scene.
Just describe it for us. We want to
No,
Why
I'm
would
just
he
saying. You try. I leave it to your imagination.
Oh, Uncle Ken, what are you saying?
I'm leaving it to your imagination because at the end of it all, that's what Leila
want
did.
to see it through
She
Uncle
left.
Ken's
She
graphic
left it,
description of it.
at the end of it all.
Uh-huh.
She left it to our imagination.
So how did it begin?
The beginning is what I have just tried to tell you.
So describe it for
And
us.
how did it continue?
It didn't continue. And to me, that was a perfect example of introducing sex in a movie, not to just show people having sex, but in adding to the story being told.
Solid. Talking about Layla, what has been your biggest challenge as a filmmaker in Ghana?
Asamoah disagrees.
I know you disagree.
I think he has reservations.
We've seen films where
No, I'm not comparing it to any of the erotic American movies or those ones that show real.
we've seen Hollywood movies where
Oh no, there have been like
Oh, there have
like
been.
a film like Monster.
Yes.
You know, even
Monsters Ball.
Yeah,
Monsters
Monsters Ball.
Ball.
Monsters
Okay.
Ball.
Monsters
Very-
Ball.
Yeah.
There have been
Or even the
films.
different shades of grey.
Grey,
You know,
yeah,
the grey.
50 Shades.
50 Shades,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
50 Shades.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
about films that I watched while on the exhibition
The
board
board.
of control
Yeah.
that tried to portray sex
Yeah.
or tried to include as making love in the movies.
And as
Some of it,
and as an expert, you could tell they didn't do it well.
exactly. Some of it was
That's my mind.
trash.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Some of it were truly trash. Another one that I liked was Perfect Picture.
That's why I said it was arguable.
Perfect
So me, I was referring to Perfect Picture.
Yeah.
Perfect Picture was also well done.
Yeah.
Crisato and Jackie.
Yeah, that was also well done, you know. And all I'm trying to say to people out there is if you want to include such scenes in your storyline, make sure it's
It has
tastefully
to
done.
be
Tastefully
called
done.
for,
Yeah,
Okay.
and it has to be called for.
Solid, Uncle Ken. You're a legend. Yeah,
Oh,
man.
Jawasem.
Legend
So
in sexual
Layla,
scenes.
I was coming. I was asking, as a filmmaker working in Ghana, which has been your biggest challenge?
Crew. Yeah, finding the right crew to support, especially like ADs and sound. Like we talk about Northern Affair. Northern Affair is one of my favorite stories. I wouldn't say favorite film because for me the production fell short, especially in areas of sound
Yeah.
and maybe not necessarily location, but I mean I really loved that story. It was like me being, that was me living, through my films,
Your films.
you know, by the sound. So if one thing I realized in Ghana, when I'm filming in Ghana and I do not bring an AD, script supervisor, sound, I'm lost. So those departments, it would be great if we have
Sorry,
some
AD being what? Assistant director?
an assistant
Yeah.
director.
Yeah.
Yes, who's like the secretary
Yeah.
Yeah.
of the production.
Of the production.
Yeah.
Lest someone thinks it's Anna Domini.
Yeah, so if those sectors could
Yeah.
be developed among the crew,
Okay.
that would be very helpful.
Solid.
What's the role of an assistant director, if I may?
An assistant director is the secretary of the production, so they do the schedule, they call actors on set, they run the set. They,
Okay.
like in politics, would probably like what?
ADC.
Oh, what is that?
General
ADC.
secretary.
You
So it's
know,
like an organizer role.
exactly.
So how why is it hard to find? Because this is just someone who is good at organizing and putting
Actually,
things together. Why
it's
is it
much more than that. You have to
Mhm.
be extremely disciplined.
Disciplined.
That's
And
number one.
knowledgeable.
Okay.
And knowledgeable. You have to have a
Yeah.
very loud voice.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because I mean the job of an AD is screaming. You're shouting throughout, like you're organizing all the ranks. An AD also has to be someone who knows how to shut up.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to talk because like you're the one talking to the actors, bringing them on
Okay.
set. If they have a problem, you're the one they're talking to. And AD is also a director because an AD directs the
Understands.
extras.
Okay.
Because a director does not direct extras. The
No.
director only directs the main actors.
main actors.
The AD does the background and
Yeah.
the extras. So
Like a stage manager in
it-
theater.
almost yes, yeah. And in Ghana, it's been difficult because the discipline, because it's a very disciplined position.
Yeah.
And if the crew and the cast don't respect the AD, that's
Okay.
it.
It's
Yeah.
So it's an
tough.
attitudinal issue, not
Yes.
necessarily skill set.
Both.
Okay.
Both. Because the
Interesting.
skill is also there because you need to know the software because this is software that you need to know how to break down a script.
Yeah.
You need to take a bunch of scenes and say, okay, we have to change clothes here and here and here. You have to understand the hairstyle
Okay.
and schedule the script to accommodate clothes, hairstyle, someone falling.
Continuity.
It's continuity. You have to understand all of that. When to break for meals. What are we eating? Okay, if we eat fufu, when they come back, their
They're gonna
breath
be
might
slow.
stink. They cannot do a sex scene. So, so things like that, and AD is responsible for.
Interesting. Arnold, what about you as a pundit? Which has been your lowest or most difficult moment as a pundit?
When my issue with Rihanna came up, I remember we addressed it on your show.
Yes,
when
we
were
did.
at that studio.
You
We
had
did.
issues
Yeah.
with my girl.
No, she had issues
Issues
with
with
me,
him.
and I felt it was mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there was a show that had been on, and we're discussing Ghanaian female artists and how far they've come. And so I made a commentary that Rihanna has the biggest or the most, the highest international appeal. But then when it comes to the local front, her appeal is kind of low as compared to the likes of Efia and the others. And for some reason, she didn't take it well. I don't know whether she actually listened or watched the interview
Depends what she was told.
or what she was told. And so she took it
No,
in another
man.
way and went on a tirade on social media and all that stuff. And so I think we had to settle it on George Quay's show.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Pandit.
Yeah, we did.
No,
We-
on this-
on
on here.
here on Showbiz
Here.
A to Z. Here.
Here.
Well, yeah, before we
Yeah.
moved here. You weren't I think
Yeah.
you had gone to a funeral up the mountains or so. So
okay,
you
yeah, I
weren't
was- no, because
you
I
weren't
don't
there.
remember
Yeah,
this
you
one.
weren't there.
And so she created the impression that I was hating on her.
Yeah.
And because she's loved and realized pretty much
Her
loved.
fan base.
And so the
yeah.
fan base really came at me. I
Yeah.
mean,
Good.
I see.
they really came at me. And
Like, don't come for Rihanna. No.
I felt bad because
Yeah.
clearly that was not my intention.
That was not the
Yes.
intention.
You know, and you and I would admit to the fact that she's somebody I'd supported.
Yes.
I've actually paid myself to attend her shows.
Yeah.
At Alliance Française.
Yeah.
I've written about her and all that stuff. So I was pained.
Yeah.
You know, that's somebody that I've supported over the years. And even on that particular show that she was making reference to, I did not denigrate her in any way. I was actually applauding her and speaking to the fact. And so for her to take it that way and subject me to a lot of ridicule and lambastation, I was a little bit affected. But then she came
The
around.
thing is that
Yeah.
as an artist, right,
Yeah.
there's something that, because we're very passionate,
Mm.
if you're going to criticize,
Yeah.
it has to be constructive.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm sure what you said was right, and I see it myself.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder sometimes why she's not the number one in Ghana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but then because of her style of music is so unique, and that is not what people. And she's so authentic to herself, to her culture, to to her roots, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's. I don't know. You guys have a controversial way of talking.
No, but she
So
came around.
maybe-
Yeah, I mean, probably, I don't know. Maybe she was misinformed.
Yeah.
But probably, I'm
course she
sure
was.
after
Yeah.
she
If
she-
maybe if somebody says, oh, they said you're not popular in
Yeah.
Ghana,
Yeah.
that would hurt.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's even the truth hurts. So I mean, yeah. But I'm glad you did not come after my
not
girl,
at all,
'cause
not
we
at
would
all.
have gone outside.
I mean,
But Arnold, so do you? Is there any? Are there people that don't even want to hear your name, don't want to see you? Because I remember there was a point you had to come out and apologize to. Was it Ivan Okoro Dems over
Yes.
some sugar daddy allegations and all that?
Yes.
You
Yes.
know.
Oh, big ups to Yvonne Okoro. She drilled me.
you come after all my girls.
No.
What's wrong with him?
So the Okoro incident. I mean, there was a discussion on Peace FM, and then I've forgotten what the core issue was. But then we said about some issue had come up about some celebs, frolicking or having some dalliances with some big men and all that stuff, or having their
possessions and wealth and stuff
based
from
on-
people's husbands and other big people in
Yeah.
the industry and
So-
all that. Yeah.
My blunder was Quincy did not mention names,
Yeah.
and so foolishly, I must be frank. I had done. Quincy and I did Raz newspaper some time ago,
Yeah.
and so Quincy used to give us tidbits on what we are supposed to write about and stuff like that. Probably you get some info and you tell me and I write and all that stuff. So we had a column called Rumor Corner.
Yeah.
And so the Rumor Corner, we actually, publicize or, publish rumors.
Yeah.
So we don't mention names and all that stuff. And so I remember we had written a story in that Rumor
Corner.
about a certain two actresses fighting over one big man.
Yeah.
The big man gave one Benz and gave the other Evoque.
Yeah.
And then, seriously, and this is just by the way, it was between Yvonne Okoro and then Justin Duman. But we did not actually put their names out.
There.
But I had forgotten that the story that we did was in that rumor section.
And there were no names.
So when Quincy said, oh, but in previous times we've had two actresses crying, I said, oh, but was Yvonne Okoro and Justin Duman. That was my mistake. So of course, I mean, I'm too smart to actually know that these are names that I should not put out, especially in that light. But then I forgot, seriously. I thought it was public knowledge.
You thought it was already out?
Yeah, it was already out. So foolishly, I mentioned their names. 2 days later, I had some court sermons from...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, from Okoro and then Duma. So I was able to apologize to both of them. For some reason, Duma understood and then let it go. But Okoro said, nah, la lie. Okoro drilled my ass. Hey, I had to apologize 100 times.
Good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she did well. She did really well. I mean, I had to apologize on radio consecutive times. I did apology in Daily Graphic 3 times.
Apology galore.
Oh,
No, in Hausa, that's what we say, Daniema. Next time.
And she really...
Hold on. Let her know.
And I applaud her for that, because over the period, that's one of the things we've been preaching. That if you have an issue with somebody, the best avenue you need to go is the court of law. And so she did not go stand somewhere to insult me. She did not have tags to beat me up on some. She took the right course, and so I applaud her for that. And she really showed me some good lesson. That be careful. Before when they activate the microphone for you, just be just be very careful at what you say.
And have your facts right.
No, I mean, talking about this, just a question that came to my mind. Were there points where you got carried away by probably the commendations you got or the fans quotes that you got, and then possibly said things that you probably sat back and realized you shouldn't have said it?
No, really. I've always been disciplined, because I come from that school of thought that, Charlie, the same people who are praising you today would mess you up tomorrow. And so I've always been grounded. I've never been carried away with the appellations and no, not at all. And so I'm never carried away by the fans, as you may put it. I'm carried away by the circumstances with that particular moment. So, for example, the Guru's incident, for instance, I mean, I said we're having a discussion about Guru saying, oh, he had wanted to feature the likes of Kwame Eugene and Kiddy, and they rebuffed, and so he feels he's on that level. He's on top, and so he doesn't understand why the likes of Kiddy and Kwame Eugene should refuse a collaboration with him. And I'm like, you're a legend. I mean, you still have that potential to stand on any platform and perform 2 straight hours, but at this particular moment, you are not on top. You've had your moments, but this particular moment that we sit here, you are not on top. He said, no. Why can't it happen? And so once he's agitated, I'm like, I insist you are not on top. So the confrontation, because I want to tell you that you are not on top. He also is thinking that, no, this guy is disrespecting me.
Yeah.
He believes he's on that level.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, no, you are not. So when you watch it on let's say you watch it, a snippet of it,
Yeah.
you might think, how come this pundit is respecting this artist?
Artist, yeah.
And so you can say,
So it looks that way.
it looks
sometimes.
like, oh, I know there's always disrespecting these artists.
Do you
But no.
sometimes feel you should have kept quiet? Have you ever? I shouldn't have said this. Do you get that feeling sometimes that what you're saying is the truth, obviously, but do you sometimes regret saying the truth?
Well, then why am I even there in the first place?
Do you ever regret
No.
having spoken the truth? You never.
No.
You've never regretted speaking the
And
truth.
yes, once it's a fact,
Because I mean, one of the things that a lot of the people from the talent community raise is how they feel the things that pundits or we say to them are not constructive criticism, no matter how we tell me the truth. I mean, they feel pundits are out there to sort of tear them down, or sort of there's the word they've always used, which is bring down their brands.
Yeah, but some are like that, Sadiq.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
Some
I'm asking.
pundits are like
I
that.
know some pundits are like that.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking whether he gets carried, because I know how maybe there will be certain instances where, because he's gaining a reputation as the no nonsense guy, or the guy that would tell it as it is, or anything like that. Maybe in a lot more instances where he's not supposed to assert that particular part of him, he does it in a way to come off as, this is an awesome ability, the guy that will say that it is. You know?
no,
And
really.
that's why was
I
asking
mean,
that
let me go back to
whether he gets
let
carried
me
away.
even backtrack to the Shatawale incident.
Yeah.
I mean, he was aggressive, and under normal circumstances, I could have also been aggressive.
Yeah.
But that particular man, I was like, no, it's not necessary. Let me just go on that intellectual
But this is the
tangent.
instance where you prepared for him. You were expecting that.
No,
and
I
you were
prepared
looking
for
to
him
assert your
to
personality as the no nonsense guy who stood his ground, demystify the Shatawale.
no,
brand.
but I prepared for him in that intellectual light.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to debate him on the core related issues that he raised himself.
Yeah.
I was not in the mood to go and do, hey, he beat me to that,
But you
that
have
fight.
already anticipated that he couldn't debate you on that. You had just said that. Said that. You know,
Yeah.
so which meant that you went in hoping to expose that part of him intentionally, and not necessarily on the basis of, okay, let me go into it with an open mind. Let's have a conversation. Let me try to understand it from his point of view and see if I can adjust mine on the basis of open-mindedness.
Yeah, because I have studied the character Shatawale, and I knew he wasn't coming to have an open discussion. Do you understand?
Which meant you went in with a prejudiced
that went into my preparation, because I studied the persona that was coming into the show, and I knew he was not coming for an
So
open
that's what I'm
discussion.
saying, that which meant that you went in with a prejudiced mind. You went in with a mindset that, look, Amara Sanamedu, this is the reputation I've gained. And so, and obviously this is Shatawale. So
Yeah.
you went in hoping to assert your reputation. So you were hell-bent on doing that, and in so doing, exposing the intellectual deficiency of Shatawale.
No.
And not necessarily, let me go and sit down. Because as pundits,
Yeah.
obviously the mindset is that we've got experience and insight about the industry. So we come in, and also because we are also looking to enable industry. So it's not about asserting the intellectual part of Sadiq, or trying to show off or come off as, this is who I am. But trying to come in to listen to, I personally maybe may not like Layla. But how about, even if I do not like her, if I'm coming into the show, you need to be able to listen to her, understand, and see her viewpoint, and see if it makes sense and speak to it.
Yeah.
But here was a case where you had said earlier, you prepared for him. You had a prejudiced mind. You were going
No.
in. You
No,
knew the
that-
kind of
no.
person
Didn't
you
say
were.
that.
You had to assess the kind of person.
No.
No. That's why I was asking earlier.
Hold on. One voice. Hold on. Okay. Go ahead,
Okay, so
respond.
you have now
Let's have one voice.
explain to it that
Yeah.
I had a prejudiced mind. So my preparation for him was preparing for that persona that was coming on the show. and also prepare in regard to the topic that we're going to discuss.
Right.
You understand? So, and again, that's why I say anybody can go back to that episode. I did not even assert the quintessential Another Samabidu on that show. Otherwise, it would have been a mess. You get it? So, yes, he came in that usual Shatawale, but I was calm and tried to, drive in my assertions and my opinions. That's it.
Sadiq, you know what? Sheikh, one of my nieces has just sent me a message. And it's so funny. It has to do with Shatawale and Arnold. And she wants to find out whether we actually did, or Arnold actually did say that if you accuse somebody of being inconsistent, it's not an insult. Is that what we were saying before?
No, not at all.
Yeah, it was. You said it was an insult.
No, I said it was an insult.
Arnold said it's wrong.
Arnold said it's not an insult.
And I agree with him. It's not an insult.
But my niece is telling me that, but Arnold did not only say that Shatawale was inconsistent. He said he was inconsistently inconsistent.
No, say that again.
He was inconsistently inconsistent.
And confused, yes, that's what I said.
Was inconsistent and confused.
That said some things that was was contrary to the point. Like he was trying to explain an initial point, and he went haywire. How's that not told you?
But let's move forward from this Shatawale one. There's a question that has popped up that I need to ask Layla. So I'll go to Layla shortly. I mean, you've looked at the industry, Arnold. I mean, there's a Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture.
So the question was for Layla.
No. I'm coming to Layla's question. This one is for you. Then after this, I'll go to Layla. How do you think the ministry is performing so far?
This is what I good thing.
The promises, I mean, let's speak to facts. Two different manifestos. The 2016, which one? 2016 and 2020. George, we can make references to those manifestos now and the promises or commitments that were made by the party. Not even half have been fulfilled. Not even half. And you can, if you have time, you can actually go into it. So, they are trying. But then based on...
Sadiq will tell you, not even 3.
They are trying. But, Charlie... Yeah, aid me.
No, Sadiq. No, not aid you. Let Arnold land. You haven't been asked. Arnold land. Go ahead.
So yes. In as much as they are trying,
yes.
If you actually, because you see, I am sure the people who drafted the respective manifesto in 2016 and 2020, they had studied the industry before they said, listen, this thing is lacking in the industry. Let's do this. This one is not really working. They studied the industry before they came up with all these commitments. So if you have given the power, how can you not fulfill even half of those commitments?
Money.
That's for me. I think yes, they are trying, but based on the promise that they made to us, it's been disappointing.
Early on, you were talking about bad blood before they even Okoro. Are there people actually in the industry who don't even want to hear your name? They don't even want to see you?
Oh, I do not think so, Charlie. We are not. I do not think we have that mentality.
Yeah.
I remember when I went for the delay interview, what she told me was that, initially she didn't like me.
Okay.
But after paying attention to me, she started started having affection for me. So, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Layla, there's Ajman Joseph. Ajman Joseph is Joy FM specifically, extended HR manager. Ajman Joseph listens to every show and he gives every review. I mean, he's a solid guy. Says, "Hi George, great show. Please ask your guest for me that what will be her biggest fear should she invest in the movie industry?"
Recoup.
Getting your money back.
Yeah, getting your money back.
Yeah. Why? There's no market.
There's no market right now. There's no market, and so if you're gonna gamble, you have to gamble something that you would not miss. That your investors will not come after you for. And that is why we need, people like Joy to commission projects, like a Quaba's doing, have the TV stations commission projects. And that would... Yeah.
Yeah, three music.
Three music.
Oh, okay.
So have you made money back from previous projects? Though?
Say that again?
Have you made money back on previous projects or lost money?
Oh, I lost money on Ties That Bind. Oh my goodness, that was like, I think I'm still hurting from that loss because I think we were doing a press screening at the Silverbit Cinemas, and I left my laptop, and somebody put the drive in it and took the film, and I think it was the most widely pirated film. So I honestly lost everything.
Any idea how much, roughly, if you were to put a figure to it?
I mean, I made that movie on about $1 million. So, but luckily for me, what I did was I parlayed the film into a distribution deal.
Okay.
So I went to a distributor who gave me an MG for 5 years and took the film, as you know, with all the losses and everything. So I think 2 years ago I started actually seeing royalties from that film. So it's trickling, but it was painful. It was
So sorry.
really painful.
So sorry. Yes, Sadiq. Yes.
For the royalties from
From
The
Ties
fin-
That Bind, yeah, because
from
what they
which
did
market? Where did
from
you
the
sell?
US.
Oh, from the
Yes,
US.
from the
Okay.
US.
Have you ever received any royalties for any of the movies you release from here in Ghana?
Like from Ghana?
I think we had TV3. TV3 bought a couple of films, and they said they were gonna pay us in airtime. By the time you I was like, you know what? Just keep the film. Just keep it. It's not even worth it. But I mean, we need the television stations because you guys make a lot of money from advertising. I've seen some of the slots. You guys charge like 60,000 CDs for 60-second commercials.
Well, it doesn't necessarily translate to
You know,
achieving targets.
exactly.
Really?
The market is so very
Because let me try to explain. You see, sometimes when you look at a figure like that, for instance, this show we've been on air for how long? Well, almost 4 hours. You know, within those 4 hours, 2 air conditioners are running. You've got lights on.
That's
You've got
true, the
screens on.
overheads, yeah.
Exactly. So yes, you may see those bottom lines, but they don't necessarily translate into cash in the pocket all the time.
But say you commission a film, people keep talking to me about a film on Ya Asantewa. Since Woman King
Yeah.
trailer came out, literally every day I get a
Yeah,
message,
yeah.
when are you making a film on Ya
Ya
Asantewa?
Asantewa, yeah.
That actually should be a television film.
True.
Commissioned by a TV
A
station.
TV station,
So
yeah.
if you commission a film like that, you will definitely make your budget back because you're going to put advertising on the material, right?
How much would a film like that cost? You never know. I could.
Oh yeah, George. I gotta
people-
start
people
twirling my
giving you a
hands for
newfound
right now.
wealth.
$2 million.
What?
So you could just avail you $1.5 million.
What is 2 million? Did you hear the amount? Did you hear the amount of money she spent on ties? But the 2 million is a joke.
Well, it doesn't matter. If you just avail, give her $1.5 million now. She can start, right?
Absolutely.
Development. She can start developing the film.
Thank you.
You're a comedian. No, but roughly, how much would a movie like that cost?
It depends. It depends. Where do you want the film to go? If you wanted to say, if Joy TV wants to do a film on Yasantua, look,
Yeah.
you could probably do it on 500,000 CDs,
Yes.
honestly, you know. But if you're trying to hit the international, oh yeah, if it's a TV movie, it's small. I
It's
mean,
small, yeah.
Lifetime doesn't pay more than 1.2 million for any film,
True.
right? So if you're looking at international, though, you have to have a completely different conversation. So you're looking anywhere 5 to 20 million
Wow.
dollars.
I bet you will have another banter with Shatawale after today's discussion. Another Smabidu. That's from Sir Frederick Inside Castle.
Oh, no, the last time I said me and Shatawala, our relationship is for life. it's for life.
Abnai Noibi says, good afternoon, GQ. Great program. I'm loving the discussion. My regards to all, especially Uncle Ken. And Leila, Honorable Abla Jifa Goma, she says hi. And she says hi to all the members in the studio. She's
Hey.
listening.
Hello.
How you doing,
Yes. This one says, pundits must not become bandits. Every man has got his right. From Jar Mystic Inside Adenta. Okay, interesting.
That's for
one
you.
there. Definitely for him.
But he's not a bandit.
Yeah. He says, hi, George. First shouts to Arnold Asamabedu, who's always an inspiration. Also to Sadiq, another top dog. Please ask Layla if she could assist in any way if someone wanting to become a music supervisor for movies, TV shows, video games, etc. Thanks a lot and would really appreciate any recommendations. Eric Nana AJ sent that one in. Is that what they call sound score or something like that? He wants to score for
Music
movies and
supervisor
stuff.
is different. They're the ones who source for
Who
the
source
music.
for the music?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
George, looks like Arnold has given you his top secular artist. Is he saying there's no gospel act to challenge the names he's mentioned?
I was
or
gonna ask the same
it's
question.
just a secular list?
Like, are
Joe
you
Metal,
leaving?
Daughters, Diana. Please ask him, is it a general assessment list or what exactly? I want to know.
No,
Love him though.
I have a gospel list as well.
Yes, so share the gospel list.
Oh,
yes.
the gospel list started with this lady who is a Pentecost woman who died. Mama Comfort Ano.
Comfortano, okay.
Comfort Ano.
Okay, yeah.
Tego Sisters.
Yeah.
Yay. Daughters of
Cindy
Glory,
Thompson.
Jesus.
Cindy Thompson, Daughters of Glory Jesus, Dana Hamilton, and then Celestine. And then Celestine Donko.
All right. Solid one there. Okay, we'll be bringing our conversation to a close. But Arnold, you did a story recently on Samia Uku.
Yeah.
Yeah. That he wants to take a move to take on the Gaming Commission. I have an opinion on that story.
Yeah, let's share.
I don't think you should have done it at all.
Okay.
And I don't think Samia Uku should bother.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. I think the musicians are lazy. The actors, all of them. You're sitting in an industry where organizations are taking food directly from your mouth.
True.
And all you know is to tell another Smabedu he's wearing 2 city shoes.
Yeah.
You have an industry where people are called Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, this and that and that. You are walking about with big names and big following. And the Gaming Commission is telling you that you cannot advertise. Meanwhile, Gaming Commission, early today, before the show was Sports Link, and Hartman was here, Henry Asantichum, who's PRO for the GFA. Was saying they are currently in conversation with the Gaming Commission so that betting companies can now put Ghanaian games, football games on their platforms. Gaming Commission will make money.
Yeah.
The football players, and they stars as well.
Yeah.
So what are we doing?
Yeah.
What is wrong if Layla advertised a betting company or is the face of Bet Ghana? Why can't she do it? And then the people are just sitting down. Ghanaian artists never ever fight for anything for themselves.
Yeah.
Every day somebody should fight for them. But Sadiq puts up the show and they know how to call thousands of dollars on amounts for them to be on stage. And if you don't, they'll put you up socially on social media to just lambast you. Why can they not learn to fight for themselves? Why should somebody fight for Ghanaian artists all the time? Sadiq, you were saying?
These days, even if you cannot afford them and you can afford others, the fans will still come for you. Why they are
not on the show? So, Arnold, that was my. I don't think anybody should bother. If Ghanaian artists are not interested in fighting for themselves, they should stay home and starve.
Yeah,
yes, when we have concerts, we'll invite them. If we can afford them, we'll pay them.
Yeah.
If we cannot, they should stay home and fight. People cannot fight your fight for you every day. We were in this country when the FDA. This is my take, producer. Hold on. Yes, I have 1 minute. Okay, I should tone down. We were in this country when the FDA said Ghanaian artists could not advertise alcoholic beverages and all that. And the one that upsets me the most, that the FDA says you cannot put an alcoholic beverage billboard within 200 meters of the school. When I'm taking my kids to the school, do we fly? It doesn't make sense. Do we fly? Do you know the number of alcoholic beverage billboards?
Yeah.
Are you telling me that when the kids are in school, they come out to look at billboards? So that's split second when they've been dropped or they've been picked up. That's what's going to make the billboard influence them to drink?
Yeah.
I mean, what goes into that sort of thinking?
Yeah.
Somebody should educate me.
Yeah.
And then another company says you cannot advertise betting.
Yeah.
Why can't some of these organizations find ways to use these artists as, find a way to use them positively to deter children, but don't take food out of their mouths? Yeah. And then you are writing stories to what? Comment somebody. Nobody should fight for them.
I mean, the story was to commend, first of all, this thing that you are talking about. I've written about it.
Yes,
incessantly about the fact that the entertainers are not fighting their own fight. They are not making a lot of noise. And to be fair, when the ban was issued, I mean, the likes of Shatawale, Efia, Wendy Shea, very vocal. They talked about it, but then it's not been loud enough. The agitation has not been on that level. And so my commendation to Sami Oku was that, listen, this is somebody whose company or unit, the National Lottery Authority, is saying, well, for me, I do not really care about whatever directive or whatever ban.
Yeah.
I would want to work with entertainers to project the ideals of my company and also to project my product. I mean, won't you commend such a person?
Oh, well, you do.
Because mind you, when the entertainer gets money, you and Sadiq, the rippling effects would get to you.
Definitely.
You understand? And so it's important for us to ensure that the entertainer is well fed. And one of the biggest revenue generation points for that entertainer is endorsement deals
And advertising. Exactly.
and advertising. And so, as a writer, as a pundit, and as an industry player, I cannot sit aloof and not, make any commentary or any writing about it. Yes, I am bashing the entertainer for not making a lot of noise about the fact that somebody is taking his or her food from their table.
Yeah.
But I need to commend that person who is saying, I am concerned. Because and if you watch the interview with Sammy Oku, he said he watches foreign content and he sees foreign entertainers endorsing these betting and lottery companies.
We see them
So
all
he's-
the time.
Exactly. You understand? So for making such a move, and guess what he did? He's not even going to gaming commission to actually say, why are you doing this? That one, it means he'll be overstepping. He's actually going to get some redress or counsel from the Attorney General's office.
Exactly.
And for me, I think that's a good move.
In a way.
So I'm telling the entertainers that, listen, this gentleman is making a move that you guys should have been making. You understand where they are?
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so I agree with you. They need
You
to
have a
make a
point.
lot of noise. But Samir Oku must be commended as
In
well.
a way. Sadiq, you have a point.
No, I mean, for me, I realize that now lately, even the ban from gaming commission is counterproductive because the same companies, betting companies, are now signing the likes of Okocha, Davido,
Yeah.
What's his name, Drogba,
Yeah.
who all resonate
Yeah.
in Ghana, and then all they do is
Okocha
fly.
advertised for, was it Bet King?
No,
Is it
so,
Bet
yeah,
King?
so,
Yeah.
so see this. Beyond the commercials they put on DSTV, which
Yeah.
is accessible here, they fly social media ads.
Yeah.
So I've got like evidence, a lot of
It is all there.
of Droba's sponsored ad with Droba with Spot. Is it Bet? No, not Bet King.
No, Bet King is
Sportbet,
Okocha. I think I've
Sportybet
seen
or
that
something.
one. Yeah.
Sportybet or something.
Yeah,
You know,
Sportybet.
which
Yeah,
also,
Sportybet.
which
No,
also
Okocha
operates
is
here.
Bet King.
You know,
Bet
so
King.
at the end of
That's
the
Okocha.
day, they still achieve the same thing they want, but the Ghanaian industry would have been poorer for it. But George, this is my take on this. Across the world, often talents are not the ones that take the lead in advocacy for industry. And that's why there are a lot of the groups that take, so the welfare groups or the associations and everything, they take the lead in some of these things. It still doesn't stop those of us that are in industry because we are also equally affected. The total advertising revenue for the last what's it called, estimate that was done 5 years ago, was projected to be about 300 million cedis per annum, which everybody takes in. Now it gradually is decreasing also because of
dwindling, yeah.
digital and
Yeah.
all of these things.
Yes.
Now, when this amount of money, which would have also come in to add up to it, is also impacted, it means that it affects all of us that also provide experiential legs of industry.
Definitely.
You know, so they are not the only ones. So if we are going to be advocates for it, all of us, because even for Sammy, again, it's also a no-brainer for him because the art from his end, NLA, is impacted by the narrative and the conversation of look, because the government agency, you are not allowing us to do A, B, C, D. And there could be some fans that the message could be impacted one way or the other because you feel that a government or state organization is being favored over the talent and all of these things. So I think that even if they do not take part in this, it's fine to get them to amplify the things that we put out. It's fine to get them to be advocates, but it still doesn't stop any of us that are also in the industry to champion some of these things, even if we have to take some of the actions that Sami Oku is taking. You know, so I mean, I think we should continue to do better. I spent time to go to the Gaming Commission. I went there with Andy. I went to sit with the Gaming Commission's boss to have a discussion regarding it. I mean, he tried to educate us on where they came from, the firm from NLA, the fact that they are working with the legislation, and we try to engage them more and more regarding how they can relax some of these things and stuff like that. He asked to look into it and to work on it. But beyond that, we quite haven't seen anything. I think that even from the Gaming Commission, they can. If they cannot and they insist, there has to be a way where a percentage of the earnings, statutory payments they take from these betting companies comes to the industries that the bans affect.
No, Uncle Ken, you see, and for me, these are the kind of. And Sadiq, when I say that artists need to learn to fight for themselves, I don't mean like Shatawari should get up and pick. No, the artists have organizations.
Just
There's music,
amplify the things that
there's ASOG, there is whichever. And a lot of the time, they want they themselves to lead it. So that is where they come in.
Yeah.
If you're not going to fight your own fight, why should I fight for you?
George, 2 quick points.
Oh,
from
okay.
you.
Then I'll go
then
to Chief.
go to Chief. Yeah. 2 quick points.
Yeah.
Your issue about a billboard advertising alcoholic beverages at a school junction.
Yeah.
I disagree with you.
Okay.
I think in a small way, it helps. Because when the children keep seeing this every time they go to school, it gets implanted in their heads. What's this? As they grow up, they might be
What about the
tempted.
bars they walk past?
Yes, they
before
walk
school?
past. They walk past the bars.
Thank you,
They
Layla.
walk past the bars. That you cannot do anything about. I agree. Walking past the bar, because you cannot stop the bar from operating. Okay, and so if a kid is going to walk past the bar on his way to school, there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. But you can do something about billboards being erected at their school premises or just by their school that they can see all the time. That's just my view.
Uncle Ken, yes,
Hold on.
I understand what
Yeah.
hold on one
Let
second.
me finish.
No,
That's
you were
just
making
my
a
view.
point on mine, so let me
Yes.
help you.
That's
Then
just
you
my
can learn.
view.
Okay, go ahead.
That's just my view on
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Second one, Okocha,
Yeah.
advertising for
Bed King.
what's it? Bed King.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in the law, tell me, do they have an age barrier where you can bet?
Definitely.
18.
Yes,
It's
18 and
supposed to be
above.
18.
Yes, just
Okay.
like alcohol.
Now, Okocha on DSTV
Yes.
advertising Bet
Bet
King.
King.
How old is Okocha?
I don't know. He should be in his 40s.
The point I'm trying to make is you might challenge the fact that you know Okocha, but that age group that they are preventing stars from advertising to, sort
influence.
of influence might not know Okocha.
So are you saying they will not be
You get
influenced?
my point. That age group.
So are you saying they will not be influenced because they don't know, Coach? Uh-huh. Yeah.
Exactly. That age group. So I agree when we go to fight, when you ask them to go and fight about why they are not allowing certain musicians from advertising products, I agree with you. And that's why I'm making a case for Okocha. Okocha advertising the kids that they are trying to prevent from doing those things do not know Okocha. You know Okocha, but you can bet because you are of age. You are of age.
Sadiq, hold on.
I
Sadiq,
want
hold
to
on.
make cases.
Sadiq, hold
Yes.
on. We're gonna
You
move
can
forward.
bet.
We're gonna move forward. But just for clarity, Uncle Ken, and that was exactly what Layla said. Traffic. The school will even go on vacation. That bar in your neighborhood at your junction is still going to be there forever. You understand? And you see, when, let us say your kids, you live, say, where you travel, and the traffic is heavy on your travel. Sometimes, even as you approach the school, there's not a lot of traffic. You just drop them off and you move on. And your traffic is heavy on your way. The billboards are there
They
on
are
your way.
there.
They will see them every day.
I know.
So isn't it counterproductive? What's the point, really?
You're drinking alcohol at home and they can watch
You
you
know.
drink it. Leadership by example.
Stopping the billboard from being placed.
200 meters within
I mean,
the
I
school
see where
is
he's
what's going to
coming.
It's
say.
a
I
good-
kind of
it's
see
a
where
good
he's
thing.
coming
I get a
from.
question.
It's
So
a
you know,
good
I think it's
thing.
counterproductive, honestly.
A lot of young men I know are choosing to have, or a lot of men I know are choosing to have bars in their house, in their living rooms,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
hard
Yeah.
liquor and
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
The child grows up in this house. Every day he passes in his
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
And he sees all the bottles and
You
everything.
You know,
That's
I
the
think the thing
perfect
with
place
the,
of
the
it.
thing with
if
the
you have-
billboard,
if
I'm a
you
Muslim.
have-
I won't do that. In fact,
If you
But
have the chance to control your kids and you decide not to control your kids, that's your problem.
But for the state is the state's
That's your
responsibility. Okay,
problem.
I
I'm
understand.
looking at the larger society.
I understand where you're coming
Yes,
from.
I'm looking at the larger
where
society. If
if
you
the
decide to
person
throw
on the billboard is someone loved by the child. You know, maybe if you put Mami Dokunu, who's more loved because of by the fireside, and then you have her holding a glass of beer and drinking. Yeah, I kind of get that. But then again, it's still the
Exactly.
job of you, the parent. The billboard shouldn't parent for you. What are you doing at
In
home?
that instance, I think that we all, by this argument, I think we all agree with the regulatory agencies because almost all the stars that we have, celebrities, one way or the other, they resonate among the younger
Yeah.
demographics as well. You know, that's why I made the point that if we are so concerned about protecting society in that instance, we should also realize that one part of society or economy will be impacted by it. How about we find a way for the funds to come back so that in this case we also become
So you
amplifiers of the
compensate- you
message.
compensate
Yeah, so
them.
that we become amplifiers of the message.
Exactly.
Lotto,
Find a way.
We heard how Lotto funds from Lotto, for instance, help to fund infrastructure,
Yeah.
other parts of
Yeah.
industry, including even the arts, sometimes sports. In fact,
Yeah.
you know,
In England.
there was a whole argument, there was a whole narrative of developing sports through lottery or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, the National Lottery in
Yeah,
England.
the National Lottery in England funds a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
stuff.
So that's the
Even
point
game
that I-
shows.
Yes,
on TV.
even
Yes,
games.
so that's the point that I'm
Wicked
saying
links
that
and stuff. All of them.
if this can happen, then you can create a working relationship between industry and the gaming platform, so that then we now become amplifiers of the message that will protect the children in this case, because then now the money is finding its way back into enable industry.
Chief, your thoughts on this one? I haven't heard Chief on this
agents.
one. Let's hear Chief on this one. Then we'll bring our conversation to a close.
Well, it's a complicated issue. It's more
Uncle
or
Ken,
less
your
like
mic, Uncle Ken, your mic is still live. Yeah.
every society must decide the evils that it can tolerate, you know, because there are lots, you know. For example, sugary drinks we know are not good for our health, but to what extent do we regulate them? We know that plastics are not good for the environment. To what extent do we regulate them? Definitely gaming and gaming addiction is bad, but what is the trend? The trend is that gaming has become a big business.
Yes.
So should we, I mean, the proverbial Catholic response, should we dissuade people from not using condoms and stick to abstinence, because abstinence is the most preferred way of dealing with HIV? But the reality on the ground is that people are not abstaining. Should we have, you know, a stopgap measure? So my point here is that it's, you know, true social transformation is a complicated business. Requires a lot of thinking and social re-engineering. And sometimes we like to do the easy things. We like to do the easy things like, you know, pushing sexuality bill through parliament that will absolutely do nothing to address the real issue.
Thank
Because our
you.
students and our children are being exposed to content. To police that content and regulate that content requires
Impossible.
some level of critical work that we may not
Impossibility.
we may not be willing to engage, you know. So it's easy to say, oh, let's ban celebrities from
Policing
advertising
social media.
alcohol or from placing billboards, but those in the grand scheme of things will not really have an impact. So if we really want to stop gambling addiction from young people, what are the difficult things that must be done? How are we, you know, enforcing regulation? We know that we have regulations for a lot of things in our part of the world, but implementation is near to zero, right? How are we preventing young people from accessing the gambling sectors? One of the things that people are actually doing is to open gambling outfits, you know, in some of our poorest communities. You know, there were some time that if you even go outside Accra, there's these Chinese gambling games that have been there for a very long time. You go to the villages and they are there siphoning hard and, you know, income from these impoverished, you know. So there are difficult questions that require critical thinking, and sometimes I get a feeling that we are not tackling the issues at that very critical level, and that we are interested in the symbolic actions. But ultimately, even though the symbolic action may have some value, but ultimately they wouldn't have as much impact in
going to have an
social
impact.
transformation.
Thank you.
So the argument you are making here is that, you know, because it may not have that much impact,
So it must not be done.
you know. But I also get Uncle Ken, right? You know, sometimes, you know, it's also signaling.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what is in our powers that we can do immediately? What are the low-hanging fruits? No one will say don't access the high-hanging fruits, but you start with the low-hanging fruits. So is zoning laws a low-hanging fruit? The problem for me is that if you stop at the low-hanging fruits, then you are not being sincere in
Exactly.
your effort.
My point
If we
exactly.
actually saw you taking the difficult decisions in
Yes.
regulation, then when you take, you know, the low-hanging fruits, we can excuse you because we can see that it is part of a grand scheme. But currently, it's not part of a. I mean, gambling
is
is
not.
as popular as ever. Young people are actually doing it.
Yes.
So I get where you're coming from, and I agree that musicians should not have. You should have the option. I mean, I don't take alcohol. I don't gamble. I don't care for that.
I don't do
But
any either.
those who.
Yeah.
Is their business to do. I don't feel they should be denied the opportunity. But even more seriously, I think that if our regulatory agencies are serious about preventing alcohol abuse and gambling from our young people, then there are more serious things that they can do beyond the symbolic gestures, and that's what we are hoping to see them do.
Solid. Thank you very much. Layla, we're about to leave. The news team is coming up next. News at 6. So what is coming up next from the stables of Layla Jansi?
I think let me use this period actually to talk about the submissions
Aha, that have come in for the
for the
Good.
Oscars.
Oscars.
International feature.
International feature. So if
Okay.
you have a film that's in English that was produced between January and December 2021 that has not been released on any ancillary platform, it's in the theaters, it's 70% in a local language. Pidgin is now accepted as
Great.
a foreign language. Please submit the films via Film Freeway. Just search for the International Oscars on Film Freeway. And please send us your film. Do not be scared. Just send it. I mean, if there's something we can do to help you, we would absolutely do that.
And then
But what are the qualities that you require?
I mean, it should have an African identity, should have a Ghanaian identity, should have an African voice, have a Ghanaian voice. But that doesn't mean, you know, you go do like build a hut and throw some people in it and have them running around. Not that simplistic, but I mean, I think if you watch your film and it qualifies for the Oscars, you would know.
Yeah.
Ideally, you should go out there and watch other films that have gone in. As a filmmaker, you also need to do your homework, right? So do your homework, look at other films that have gone in, like Yelen, like Lamb from Ethiopia, like Kati Kati from Kenya. Watch those kind of films. Open up your world to watching other films. I mean, Netflix doesn't have all of the library, you know. Go to Amazon, go to other places. YouTube has got like old films that you can actually access and get to understand the language of film as it applies to international awards and, you know, international voices.
Solid.
There's a
This one says,
conversation that we need to have, but
hold
we
on,
don't have
Chief.
the
This
time.
one says, Eric Naneji's question had not been answered. It says, George, once again, I didn't get a response from my request about the music supervisor. How can he become a music supervisor? He wants to know.
If he wants to be a music supervisor, I would honestly suggest that he works in a music studio.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be a good place to start,
start.
because or maybe work with someone who scores films.
Yeah.
I mean, in Ghana, it's very difficult.
Yes,
it's
it
really
is.
difficult. But then, you know, reach out to music producers who are looking to license their films to productions. You know, an advertising agency would also be a good place to start. I mean, Shake is here. I think Plays also use scores.
Yes,
you know.
yes. I'm actually I'm actually a secret musician, actually. I
Oh,
develop
okay.
scores, and I'm developing a score for my next production.
What,
But Leila,
what conversation did you say we needed to have?
no, I think it's very about, you know, what, you know, for example, in the world of literature, there's an understanding or there's a criticism that Western publishing houses have a particular understanding of what African literature should be. It should have a particular flavor, almost that's, you know, hats, slavery,
Yeah, how to write
colonialism.
about Africa.
Yes, you know, that kind of flavor. Are there those concerns, especially with movies? You know, do they
Chief,
selecting committee?
you're starting a whole
expect-
topic.
That's what I'm saying. You know, because there's also the question of what is an
today.
African music,
Not
or an
today.
African
You know
movie,
what?
an
Okay,
African voice.
let me just
Yeah.
make it very simple. We are going to be having a town hall, which I
Great.
would love for you
Great,
to
great.
attend.
We
or be a
would all
part
wanna
of,
be there.
Which would talk about what voice
Yes.
to tell a Ghanaian story in.
When is it going to happen?
We're still working on
still
it.
working
We're
on it.
working with GAFTA, but
Great.
it will be September, October, because I'm here till the end of October, so we'll do it.
We'll get in
before.
touch. Atwa can support it, and then we'll see how we can get it done.
And put a
Yay.
15th of
we can-
October
we
on
can-
your calendar too. I'll
Perfect.
send you something. George.
Great, thank you.
And put a first and second. Let me break the news here. Arnold Asamoah-Bedu is going to be on stage at the National Theatre
Yes.
in a play on the 1st and 2nd of October.
What is he doing in that? What is he doing in
I hope
that?
it's not
When
just
you
a
come and watch
cameo
him sing.
appearance.
No, he's actually acting.
He just comes and says, hello.
You just come and do the proverbial.
No, no, no,
dance.
no.
The match pass dance.
Arnold is actually playing the central conflict role. His
you very
activity in that play is what sets the entire play in motion.
Wow.
It's the most important role. So, yes, Arnold Asamoah-Bedu is on stage.
Congratulations to Uncle Boy on his
I need to
50th
sign-
play.
Yes,
That's
yes,
why
congratulations
I
to him. So Arnold, we're going.
Yeah.
I mean, congratulations on being who you've been. And look, you need to let Ghanaians get to know the other aspects of you. I mean,
Small.
let people, when you are writing on Facebook, write something about airport small. you know?
You want
Yeah.
him to let
I hear
people
you.
to know, you want him to let
My
the public
regards to
know that he
your
was the one that
is it your
loved that
board
man.
chair or your MD? Paul. No, Paul Adamochi.
How did he hear?
That's a Ghana airport.
Ghana. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
How did he
I'm in
hear?
the civil aviation.
Did you hear what
You know,
George
George, I
is-
think you have to clarify. You know, when you talking about airport, we're all thinking about
Ghana Airport. No,
Yes,
they are
so-
two different things. Arnold works with the Ghana Civil Aviation
Okay.
Authority.
No, we used to be together,
Yes.
but then there was segregation around
I'm saying that
2006.
George,
Okay.
George is tempting you
To say what?
for you to let the public know that you are the one that locked out McDonald out of the airport.
Arnold does not. I don't even know what Sadiq is talking about.
The person who locked him out, was he not showing the door or something?
Arnold, any final thoughts? We're
Well,
leaving.
recognition. I mean,
Yeah.
I believe it's about time the entertainers, especially,
Yeah.
they recognize the role of the journalists and the pundits.
Exactly.
It's an ecosystem. We play an integral role in this whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
And so, if they do not recognize and respect us,
Yeah.
it trickles down on their fan base, and it becomes a problem. I mean, let's respect every role each personnel is playing within this industry, and to be a safe place for all of us.
Solid. Uncle Ken.
Oh, it's been nice having Leila and Arnold in the studio.
Very, very,
I've
very.
enjoyed the conversation.
Very.
You know, I wish them well.
The legendary Belay comes up next with Flashback. My name is George Quaye. News, social media. It was Crispy that made it possible. My girl, my music is coming up with the news at 6. And then it's going to be the rest of the day. We're going to watch theater. 8 p.m. Be at the Accra International